Okay, here we are again at the Cow Chemigraph stand in Hall 5 at Drupa 2024 in Düsseldorf. I'm with Namrata Sharma and Tri Tuladhar of
Trijet Limited. Trijet Limited.
Trijet Limited. Great. And the name has something to do in common, huh, with your Tri and Trijet.
Correct,
Okay.
that's right.
All right. Anyway, we met earlier, very recently, a few months ago in Delhi, in Aero City, where Namrata organized a whole seminar of various partners who can contribute to the integration of the entire inkjet machine, device, press manufacture in India, putting together the domain knowledge, the technology, and the devices needed for actually integrating and testing the process. It seems that a lot of the knowledge that needs to be brought into India concerns some kind of a training or some kind of a transfer of domain knowledge and confidence. So, would you like to say a word about that first?
Thank you, Mr. Khanna, once again. Actually, I feel because now people have started getting into inkjet, and training is a must to take things forward. About inkjet, it is known by people, but not everybody. How you work with the inks, how you work with the printheads, all those kind of things. If you have to see, you need that training. And I guess Trijet is going to be a good partner over here who will help us train our people so they can really do good work in inkjet.
Okay. So here's over to Tree and Trijet.
Yeah.
And explain to us a little bit. I believe you're thinking of building a center in India, a knowledge.
Correct.
Concept.
Thank you for having me here. Last time when I came to Delhi, we discussed quite a lot. We met with a lot of industrial partners and all that, and which Namrata kindly organized it. And one of the things that came out of that meeting was there's a need for the knowledge transfer of it, right? India is moving on the digital inkjet quite fast, but the inkjet whole system is a multi-physics, multi-chemistry driven, and so it needs to be everything needs to be put together. And one of the things is there's a missing link in the knowledge transfer. And with Namrata, what we it's been decided or agreed sort of a thing is knowledge transfer is required, and that's what we are now thinking of setting up a knowledge center in India where we can provide the training, all aspects. To give you a big background on me, I've been involved in the inkjet for the last 20 years, developing all the aspects of the inkjet printing from the formulations to the ink characterization to the waveform development. So it's a multi. And if we can transfer some of that know-how to the market, it would be quite interesting. Like, put it this way, right? If the ink, you make an ink CMYK color, but even though if the property is exactly the same, it jets very differently, right? What is the missing parameter? It's the know-how, integrate know-how of that, right? So if vendors wants to develop it, then they need to know the multi-physics approach to it and how you can fine-tune whether from the waveform or the ink formulation point of view and the system itself, right? And so this needs to be transferred at some point down the road.
So the keywords are waveform, system.
The print head, right? The
Print head.
waveform and the ink formulation, right? And the ink itself has what we call is a dynamic property of the ink is very, it's a time-dependent property,
Yes.
and that is very key, right? And with using the traditional way of characterizing will not work, and this is for the precise reason why your batch-to-batch variation is there, or ink changes. CMYK has a different waveform for it, right? And how do I make the ink jet reliably?
So
it's,
broadly, this is rheology and waveform.
that is correct.
Rheology is the flow,
Flow of
the
the
viscous
That's right.
viscosity. Flow.
So what we call is the viscoelasticity, right?
Right.
And we need to flow that bit property. And this is in the time scale we're looking at. It's completely different time scale. We're looking in the time scale of microseconds, and we're looking into the geometry in a micrometer, right? So we need to be able to characterize that sort of fluid properties into it.
No, I remember from Delhi that this is a fairly microscience. I mean, you're talking about nanoseconds and forms of units of measure which humans normally don't
familiar with,
correlate and are familiar with. But it's part of a trend now in India
Correct.
that if you are going to manufacture, you are going to get into serious laboratory work and science and instrumentation. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
No, that is perfectly correct, because I think you need to get the science, physics right? And you need to get the chemistry right. But what people don't realize, the physics and chemistry is in a completely different time scale and the geometry, right? So coming from a coating industry where your seconds and millisecond is important, in the inkjet, we're talking about a microsecond and a micrometer, right? And where you're printing 1,000, you are printing 30,000, 40,000 drops per second, 24 hours a day, right? And that's the reliability we're talking about.
Oh, great. I love it. I love it because everywhere you go here, they all talk about innovation, collaboration, and blah, blah, blah. And you are talking millisecond, microsecond, rheology. That means you're talking science.
Yes, but-
And that is it.
So whatever the development has done, there's a science behind it, right? What you see is a complete package, but within the package there's a product and there's a process, right?
Yeah.
And that needs to be all fine-tuned. And I think the training center is going to provide, idea is to provide to help you to get to that point. There's no point jetting one drop, right? But you need to be able to jet 30,000 drops per second every time. And that's the challenge, right? And that's why I think the India market is quite ready for that sort of thing. And I think with Namrata's Print Connect and all that, I think it's quite suited to be in that phase to provide it.
Great. I think congratulations, Namrata.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Thank you
Sri.
very much, yeah.
You're talking about the next level of science-based creativity and fine-tuning and making things work, because it doesn't happen with band-aids. It happens with surgery.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, I think that's the one. I think you put the right word into my mouth, right?
Yeah.
It's not the packet banding of it. It's not the fixing of it. It's finding the solution itself from the surgery itself, right? Cutting down to the basics and
Yeah.
solve
I think
the
you
problem.
use the analogy of blood in
That is
Delhi.
correct, right? I
So
use
now,
the analogy
now
of
it's
the-
coming back slowly.
Yeah, I
it's
use the analogy of the heart, blood, the kidney pumping system, right? The refining.
Yeah.
And that's all the package we needed.
Wonderful. So I can't wait to see you in India soon enough.
I look forward to it, right? think-
I am not a manufacturer of inkjet machines, but I love you as a teacher.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Yeah, it's
Okay,
welcome. It's
great.
a pleasure to.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.